Part two, it's also about an hour, maybe an hour and a half, I'm not sure. This section pertains to allergies, chemical hypersensitivities, toxic hydrocarbons, air, food, water, and beverages, safe meats and proteins, fish, seafood, and complex carbohydrates. Bon appetit. And you are what you eat, you are what you breathe, and you are what you drink. That's part two. Yeah, I'm going to have to get through this because it cut out there. Buffalo meat, pork, liver, okay, fish, no cod, pike, there's suckerfish, no suckerfish of any kind, pickerel, rainbow trout, bass if available, Arctic char, now an endangered species, and smaller fish like sardines, and no canola oil. And I like the skinless, boneless, more expensive sardines, and I sprinkle that with apple cider vinegar and Mrs. Dash garlic herbs and yum yum. Seafood can be hard to digest. I've stopped using it, but scallops frozen from our northern east coast are small and they cook very fast and extremely expensive and really delicious. But I'm not so sure that they're particularly healthy. I'm not saying they're unhealthy, but I'm just saying they are hard to digest. So I don't eat a lot of seafood because I have digestive problems. And people like me, it's very hard for us to get seafood that's safe. And shrimp, well, truthfully, I don't know. We can't even get organic shrimp, so I kind of stopped. Well, no, that's not true. One store started to carry it, and I have it in my freezer, and I haven't touched it. But what I do is I buy it frozen and pre-cooked, and then I take distilled water, bring it to a boil, and I dump it in for like not even a minute, just to kill off any bacteria. Because yes, I'm not germ phobic. I am living in reality, and that's my reality. No tuna or large fish. Cheese is high in fat protein. Eat sparingly, and it's hard to digest, except for blue cheese. And it has to be organic. No fake cheese, please. Eggs, organic only. Vegetarian protein burgers, yes, absolutely. Amy's in California. Is still around. By the time you see this, it could be 200 years from now. I don't know. But anyway, take a look. So yeah, I got to go fast because I'm losing my thing. And next is complex carbohydrates. And I'm going to end here, over and out. And I'm going to do another one later. Okay, we're back again. This is complex carbohydrates are necessary for a healthy body. And number one, no white potatoes, if you can avoid it. Sweet potatoes are high in beta-carotene, vitamin A, and you do not require a supplement with them. There is an American group working in Central Africa for them to grow sweet potatoes and stop the blinding, crippling disease children have there from lack of vitamin A. They also help to induce sleep, but they're just... I went off them because I thought they were too fattening, but instead I'm eating chips, so yeah, I better go back on them. Well, COVID-19, I've had my reasons for being very depressed. Not because I'm dying, but because my work would disappear. So I'm sick a lot, and it's hard for me to exercise, but really, I need to get back on the sweet potatoes. Now, a healthy fiber is missing in many foods, junk foods, cereals, stripped carbs like bread, pasta, rice, flours, fake cheese, and protein. It's all constipating and personally makes me really ill. So I do have to take chia and Senecot, and I have to balance depending on what I'm eating. If I eat cheese, like a pizza, I take 2 Senecot with chia. If I'm eating beans, well, I don't take any chia, and or maybe I take chia and no Senecot, depending on which type. Black beans for sure, I don't need Senecot. Ground flax may be helpful. If it's cheaper, well, go with that, but I Um, don't eat 3 meals a day, so I can afford to buy the ground chia, but it should be ground. Do not ever just get seeds that are not ground. They'll just score your bowels and cause you damage, and you're not a bird. You don't have the ability to digest them. Bread, organic, sourdough, sprouted multigrains, rye, all organic. Fermented is best. I already went into that. Pasta, I already talked about that. Should be 100% organic. And there are now wonderful organic pastas out there. I particularly like the veggie one, but there's a multigrain one. But if you are not able to use the grains and glucose intolerant, the veggie is wonderful. Now, again, rice should be brown, black, or red, but black is extremely expensive. Now, allergy research follows from my 1989 trip to New York City. Now, I was dying there when I flew in my bubble gas mask, and there was a kind, compassionate neurologist whose name I lost, and I'm not sure that he's still alive. I wish I had some evidence of him, but it was stolen. But it doesn't matter. He lives in my heart. And that story has never been published. Now, either I made the mistake. I talk about I wasn't rich or famous, but I shouldn't have come back from New York. I had a lawyer offer to help me, and my mother was bawling, and so I came back to rescue her and sacrifice myself. Yeah, that's what I do. But in so doing, I sacrificed my research and able to save millions of children. So that's too bad. But I am making some changes now because of COVID-19, so maybe that's why God wanted this to happen. But now it's going to be published on YouTube, and it's there forever. That's it. And from there, I went from death to dancing, and gorgeous young men from every walk of life took a turn with me. And I have, wowsy wow wow, the most incredible memories you can imagine. Boy, for a sick girl, I sure had a good time. Dust mites, maintain. Now, I got this from Prevention Magazine, the founder, and I don't even remember her name, but she was so kind in my early days in '86, and she sent me a little book, and it works. You have humidity in your room, 45 or less humidity, and they die. At 46 and higher, they breed by the billions. Remove all carpeting. Now, for decades, it didn't bother me, but now it's bothering me again. This last move, this apartment is just, every day Dan goes around and cleans up the dust with, sprays vinegar on it. And every day I've got dust everywhere. It's coming up through the basement, through the floorboards. And with COVID-19, we're in no position to move. So we're stuck here. So the apartment is making me very sick. And you can clean your floors with white vinegar, baking soda, or hydrogen peroxide. I think with COVID-19, Dan has now switched from vinegar to peroxide 3%. And if you're really sick, wash your clothes in only baking soda and no soap at first. Now we're okay because he only uses a soap that has no ammonia, no bleaches, no perfumes, and no chemical additives that are toxic. And I'm okay with that. My clothes don't make me sick. Beauty and bath tips. I bathed soaking in baking soda when I had skin lesions all over my body that were caused by soaps. Now that I have my disease more controllable and my allergies, I bathe and soak in a sesame seed bath oil with baking soda. It's a bit messy in the tub, but God bless Dan. He doesn't mind doing it for me. And I even have, when shopping, some of my young lady fans like to run their hands up my arms and telling me my skin is like silk. So funny. And they say, what do you do? And I said, no soap. Now, my skin has never had soap. I was a model, and I was trained by a manufacturer in the cosmetic industry, and one of the Fred Astaire studios, and the hairdressers from Toronto for celebrities. That's back in '58, I'm talking. So I was trained really young. No sun, no soap. And that protected me from cancer. And anyway, why should I want to turn black? If God wanted me black, I'd have been born black. I think it's so silly. Here we are, all these white racist people against blacks, and then they go out and they sunbathe and turn themselves black. How dumb is that? Okay. I even, I have young guys who salute me, and they love my colors, and they love the way I look. And yeah, you know, and I talked to one at the grocery store on the phone yesterday, and he said, "Oh, Trudy, everybody missed seeing you and all your beautiful clothes and your beautiful colors. We look so forward to seeing you come back shopping." But I said, "Well, I'm shopping, but I send Dan, and he's not as pretty as I am." Yeah, he's a guy. He doesn't wear bright colors, but he should. You know, he was handsome enough to. Well, when we go ballroom dancing, which we'll never be able to do again, but if you look up my ballroom dance videos, you will see I match his shirts. I bought all his shirts to match my gowns. Yeah. But anyway, when I was unable to wear makeup because of the allergies, my eyebrows and lashes are blonde. I was born blonde, and then I turned brunette at the age of 4. In fact, so dark it was almost black. So my eyes are just like two piss holes in the snow, not very flattering. So I wear colored glasses to match my outfits to give the illusion of youth. And except for a bit of lipstick, I don't need makeup, because I create that with flowers and hats and style and color. And I look good. And I'm not trying to look younger. I just like the way I look. I'm a fashionista, and I like to look pretty. And why not have compliments when I look pretty? Yeah. It's fun. Teenagers, even little babies will give me little signals and stuff. They like my sparkles, sequins, and colors. Now, I can no longer go swimming anywhere, but when I could, I was an avid swimmer. But then, due to the allergies, I could swim like a fish, and I love cold water. The cold triggers adrenaline, really makes me feel good. But our lakes are too polluted, so I'll never be able to swim again. And I can't swim in pools with all that junk they put in there. It makes me sick. Hair dyes. There are dyes that have no ammonia and no bleach, and yet you can color. I went from dark black to blonde with no difficulty. They are available. So if your store doesn't have it, demand it, and they can get it. Bedroom. Now, the bedroom is by far the most important room in your life. First of all, while you sleep, your immune system will weaken, not strengthen. A Z bed organic mattress will cost Canadian about $2,000 to $4,000, but it sure beats getting knee and hip surgery. Yes, true. I was going to be forced to get surgery, and since I don't heal, it was just too dangerous. So I did some research and discovered that the Z bed mattress, it fully contours to your shape. It relieves all stress off your hip and back. And I was able to cancel my appointment with the hip specialist. Now, that was in 2015, I think. I can't remember. It doesn't matter. I couldn't sleep. I was in so much pain. And the tumor had done the nerve damage. And I'm completely healed. Yes, completely. Because of the mattress. Now, Dan's was $4,000, and I got it on sale, 30% off. And his back injury from an accident in the mines, in the smelter, he's not going to need surgery either. And everyone says, "Gee, so expensive." Yeah, well, I'm talking to people who are seniors, and they're all getting these stupid hip surgeries. And almost everybody that gets hip surgery, it was a senior, does not have a good recovery, I want you to know. And a couple of them even died from it. So what do you pay for your car? I said. And they kind of gave me that blank look. If you can buy a car, you can buy a mattress that'll keep you out of the hospital. Gosh, humans as a species are so stupid. We think nothing of spending a fortune on gambling, booze, music, and gasoline alley toys, but we balk at spending it on our health. Tear off any plastic covers on bed or furniture, plastic blades, toxic petroleum oil that you breathe. Biotech activated charcoal filters on while you sleep for breathing difficulties or asthma. Now they have a new technology out, and I'm going to tell you right now, Dan bought them, cost them $500. They don't work as good. They were supposed to have some kind of fancy electrons that destroy the fumes in the bacteria. Well, they don't do a damn thing for dust mite poop. I have an air conditioner and I put in a filter and I clean it regularly, and I clean my air with my air filter, because I'm telling you that new fancy air filter that he bought doesn't work as good as the activated charcoal ones. Check with your hardware store. They have some really good ones. And there is that new biotech fabric out now, better than anything the doctors are using for COVID-19. And I have that. And I put it in my air filter and I put it in my gas mask. I'm in the mask, what I call my COVID-19 mask, which I put over top my gas mask. I've made a mask for Dan that's water resistant, and I don't want to get into that right now. Done that. Do not use toxic fabric softeners in the wash. That is so insane, I won't even go there. China, India, and Africa are notorious for using deadly toxic dyes. Sniff before you buy. And if you can smell it and sneeze it and cough it and choke and feel dizzy, it means it's toxic and it'll trigger asthma and cause brain damage and allergy attacks. Even if you're not allergic or chemically hypersensitive, this is bad junk. And buy local where you can. In simple words, you're being poisoned. Now, acrylic is especially dangerous for babies and small children's immunity. Its fibers break off and trap in their lungs, and such unknowns can be the reason for sudden death syndrome in their cribs. Cotton and all natural fibers are safest. And I use a lot of lycra nylon because everything slips off that. Nothing collects to it. Specifically when I go out. I don't want to be walking around with mosquitoes and black flies and sand mites crawling all over my friggin' clothes. But they're not attracted to my ski tights because that's nylon and it's not porous. Okay, mold is one of the most deadly toxins in your home and cars. Keep a light on in the kitchen and bathroom. Wet areas breed mold rapidly, but light kills mold. Their spores are microscopic, cannot be seen, yet they fly around rapidly, making spring and rainy fall weather the worst time for me. Mold can only grow in damp, wet conditions, but not all molds are toxic. The mold in blue cheese and fungi mushrooms are a lifesaver. Bathrooms are a killer, and kitchens. Dripping faucets create a paradise for deadly mold spores and a death sentence to children and people overall, particularly people like me with immune deficiencies. Do not cover cement walls. Seeping water, this makes the mold grow worse. Get a contractor to do it right. Wear a gas mask. Good painters filter masks to vacuum and work on such as sawing and painting and cleaning. A low immune system is compromised by toxins, but even if you're really healthy and you're not wearing a mask, you're giving yourself cancer. Did you know that? Yeah, you're giving yourself cancer. Cancer can be prevented. And no doctor is going to give you that information. Now, this next paragraph is really important. Chemical hypersensitivities, allergy, toxic shock syndrome. If you and 100 people eat arsenic, 1 may die, 8 may get sick, and many will seem to recover, but remain weak for the rest of their lives, and some will become mentally deficient, or some, which I forgot to put in here, so I'm telling you right now, you may show no symptoms at all, but you're going to pass a genetic predisposition to immune deficiencies and allergies and chemical hypersensitivity to your children's children's children. Okay. Now, the truth is we're all being systemically poisoned. Once you face that fact and work on detoxifying, avoiding, and prevention, and you will begin to avoid and prevent and control many disease, not just to yourself and the people around you, because I know most of you don't give a damn about the people around you, but many of you do care. About 50% of you care about your children. And the rest of you, well, you're kind of a lost cause. So-called allergies are really a reaction to toxic chemicals, mold, dust, and fungi that are poisonous. And I love people who say, but it's natural. Excuse me, poison ivy is natural, but should you eat it? As we have no real pollution laws, our vehicles are deadly. We should be in electric vehicles. There's no excuse. That technology was here in 1908. And Mr. Ford and the oil industry destroyed it. Now you're very busy killing the planet as well as yourself and your families and your children with your stupid vehicles. Sea-Doo should be banned from all lakes. All boats that are not electric should be banned. Sailboats are okay. But everything that uses gas, oil, and diesel and propane should be banned. Now they could easily design a way to filter the air and not bring in toxic gases and fumes, but we're too dumb to demand it, so why bother? They're happily making enough money killing us with diseases that are 100% preventable. Always wear a gas mask driving. The Advantage MSA is the only one with the silicone seal that is the best and the lightest at the moment. Eventually they may come out with something even better, but for now this is fabulous. And the filter inside as much as possible. Why are companies so stupid as to take outside winter cold air in your car and truck, run it through the heater to warm it up, and in summer outside hot air and run it through the air conditioner to cool it down? Now that beats the heck out of me. We should be recycling the air from inside, or at the very least have air filters on the intake so that you're not bringing in any toxic hydrocarbons inside. Yes, that technology's been around for 50 years. But you're too stupid to demand it. And your governments have no interest in preventing disease because they're on the take to the corporations that are making money off of keeping you sick. Now, for any long trips, you're going to need some air for oxygen, so they could put a filter to trap all the toxic fumes from blowing it in your face. Yes, they can. If they can make a gas mask to do it, they can do it on the cars. Gas, diesel, propane, fumes are not carrot juice. What you smell, your body is drinking in toxic molecules through your mouth, skin, lungs, in your car, and clothes. Get the picture? You drive in poison and drink in poison every day. and none of it is truly necessary. All could be 100% filtered in our vehicles if we demanded it. Electric vehicles are the only solution to the survival of humans and our planet. If you are a smoker, there's help. Get it done now. You're not just going to die from cancer. You're going to give it to the people around you. Like I said, 50% of you, I know you don't give a damn about the people around you, but thank God there was this little wee group in Toronto. Yes, they don't get any credit for it, but there they were fighting smoking in 1970. And it finally happened. We got most of it banned everywhere. I grew up with doctors smoking. The movies all promoted it. Alcohol. I have been clean and sober since 1984. I think that means I'm 36 years. I'm not sure. I lose track. I don't care. Now, I've been watching a show recently, and she wound up in jail. She crashed her car. The other one lost her business, and they don't think they're alcoholic. Man, oh man. Because they can go for 2, 3, 4 days without a drink and they think they're not an alcoholic. There's many kinds of alcoholics. If you can take one glass of wine and limit it to that, you're not an alcoholic. If you have anywhere from 2 to 3 and up, you're already an alcoholic. I'm allergic to alcohol. One drink and I'm completely out of control and I can't stop and you can't stop me. Now that's a genetic predisposition to addiction. I come from a long line of thousands of years of addicts on my father's side. Violent Cossacks. They were not nice people. And it is an addictive drug. And the same goes for medical weed. I watched many people become schizophrenic from this medical weed. You're safer to eat it. Grow it in your garden. Grow it on your windowsill. Don't touch that shit. Now, the organic original source weed was not genetically engineered to be so strong, and it's going pretty much extinct now. But if you can, there is information on that. And the kind that they have genetically engineered now is very dangerous and causes brain damage. Treatment for allergic or toxic shock syndrome. First, do not lie down. The attacks will reduce if you walk, shuffle, pace, pace, pace. Keep your body moving to induce adrenaline. Use an ice pack at the back, base of your head and neck. That will trigger adrenaline. You can control most of these attacks by knowing what the causes are from, preventing and keeping your body moving no matter how painful. Keep moving and breathe as much clean air as possible. I drive in a gas mask 1 hour to find clean air. And I may only be outside for 15 minutes, but it's worth it. Once I am poisoned, it takes me up to 5 days, sometimes 3 weeks to detox. Last year, it took me 7 months because my porridge had Roundup pesticides in it, and it was Canadian. Somehow, no, it was an American product, but they don't tell you if it was raised with Roundup. Now, in the United States, there's a big lawsuit against the Roundup because it definitely causes brain damage and cancer. So I got organic from the health food store, and it took me 3 months to reverse that attack. And I was paraplegic for most of 7 months. And to detox safely, I'll take about 20 raw okra, frozen, thawed out, and I just eat it. Can make a salad with it, but if I'm sick, I haven't got time for that. I just eat it. And 1 cup of red Swiss chard, and a cup of organic lactose-free kefir, and or organic zero-fat yogurt. Now, kombucha and other products claim to detox, but all they did was make me even worse, and they made me sick. Canola oil is poison. And I'm not even going to argue that fact. The FDA banned it until 1994. Look it up. That's the science. It was developed by Health Canada, originally with collaboration in 1933 with the Nazis. Don't touch that shit. And if it's a Canadian product, you have to call the company and find out if it's in it, because they don't put it on the label. American product is safe because they have to put it on the label. They don't have to tell you it was raised with pesticide, but if it's organic, you don't even have to deal with that because there's no pesticides in organic. It has a number of toxic chemicals that are in there naturally that cause crippling paralysis, brain damage, immune deficiencies to animals that ate it. Now that I do have on a slide. Canola is poison, and you can read the science. It's there. It's also being used as a preservative. It's like embalming fluid. It preserves a product for a disgusting long period of time. Used for cooking, the fumes are deadly poisonous. I've taken hundreds of attacks from canola fumes, but never took one from olive oil or coconut oil while cooking. So it's not safe to run in a vehicle either. Corn oil, peanut oil is not something I choose to use. I don't think they're particularly healthy. I like camelina oil. It has a wonderful, unique flavor. It's extremely expensive, but it's an omega-6, and you shouldn't have too much of it. Whereas you see, olive oil is an omega-3. I just put a teaspoon on it just for the flavor. Never cook with it. Now, no genetically modified food is safe. Health supplements are not part of my okra for life or okra diet for disease control system as such. I do use supplements, and I have a separate video on that. Ginger nearly killed me. I'm allergic to it. It made me so sick I wanted to die, and I went into convulsions for days. No. Just because it works on a Chinaman doesn't mean it's going to work on you. Even a small amount can trigger an attack. But I'm okay with cinnamon, red pepper, curry, turmeric, and all kinds of spices up the yin-yang. And don't rely on a doctor, because they don't study any of this. Get to know your own body and treat it with the love and respect it deserves. Now, I had a system to find out what you're allergic to and what foods are making you fat and what foods, like Dan was on a high protein diet and getting fat. Well, it turned out when he eats eggs, everything he eats turns to fat. With me, it's potatoes. So what you do is you take everything out of your diet, and then you eat that one thing and see if you ate only eggs for 4 days and you lost weight, then you know it's not a problem. And then you slowly put one more thing in, and it's called the allergy system. And then you put another thing in. But predominantly, carbohydrates, strict carbohydrates, are going to make you fat. And there's nothing healthy about them. But sometimes, things like beef will also make you fat, and they'll clog your arteries, and they'll kill you with heart disease. We were never intended to eat cattle. They were there for dairy. They were there for milk. Some guy came from Scotland and he turned the cattle industry, I guess 200 years ago or more, and he turned it into an industry for food that North Americans are addicted to. But really, buffalo meat doesn't do that. Much, much healthier. Now, yep, that's me. 72. Wasn't I gorgeous? That's before the tumor took me down. Women in, yeah, that's my real hair. Yep, that's my real hair. I dyed it, of course, with with that dye that I was talking about that had no ammonia and no bleaches in it. And it did a lovely job. And my natural color is like that floor. It's brunette, but so dark it's almost black. Now, women and skin allergies. Yeast infections are most often caused by wearing too tight jeans, nylon, or synthetic panties. You should wear only cotton. I learned that 25 years ago. Now, inside a bikini bathing suit, I'll wear a cotton bikini panty to protect myself. Now, my skin and my tummy are becoming so sensitive that even the elastic on the panties is causing painful rashes. So at first I used cornstarch to take the itching down, but it was finally got so unbearable I didn't know what to do. Dan made the smart suggestion, since I sew and have a sewing machine, to turn the elastic over and flip it over and sew it down so the cotton side is protecting my skin from the elastic, and it's working. And allergies can affect you in so many ways that even you don't realize it. The fact is that allergies are an autoimmune dysfunction caused by being systemically poisoned air, food, water, beverages, so that you are truthfully, actually, chemically hypersensitive. I spent over 70 years in agony needlessly because of the modern lifestyle, diet, and medicine is in the dark ages. And the reality is what's happening to humans is we are becoming genetically mutated by generations of industrial poisoning. We are becoming allergic to our planet and our bodies are screaming for help. Pain speaks to you, telling you that your body is suffering. Pain is not the cause, but the symptom. Men who are genetically, physically different from women, but doctors are still too stupid to admit that reality. Men also suffer from being systemically poisoned, but just in different ways. And they don't realize that their anger, insanity, and brain dysfunction often has been caused by being poisoned. It took Dan 72 years to figure that out. He was so busy keeping me alive and taking care of me and rescuing me, he neglected to consider himself. Today, Dan is much more careful when driving to avoid toxic fumes coming into the car. He takes his own beverage to his favorite bingo. Well, he won't be able to go back there while COVID-19 is on the planet. So that's done. But, you know, he was very careful not to bring me any viruses home. But truthfully, he did. Not meaning to, but he did. Because people go out when they're sick. So I kind of have to skip that because times have changed. No matter where you go, you're never going to be safe again, no matter who you are. Now, I try to get him to eat tomato organic sandwiches on organic multigrain buns and he eats way too much organic Greek yogurt. He eats it. First he was eating it with the fruit. Well, that's all sugar. And now he's eating it with coconut and no sugar. But he's eating like 2-3 cups a day. Well, you can get kidney stones and kidney damage, and too much calcium can cause problems. And the calcium can go into your blood and block your arteries. So, no one thing in excess is good. I have a friend that thought that carrot juice made him genius. And he darn near died from vitamin A poisoning. He turned orange, and we rushed him to the hospital, and they barely kept him alive. And he was so sure that it was making him a genius. Yeah, his name was Doug. He's probably dead by now. Oh well. And the all-in-one plant-based organic supplement he gets, and we also have organic mineral bars. Can't get the protein bar. They discontinued it. Now, organic eggs are a great protein for me, and they're cheap. And I think they're great for everybody. You vegans are against it? Well, tough tit. You're not hurting the chicken if you eat an egg. One woman online on Facebook said, we're depriving the chicken of their babies. Oh, get a brain. Okay, enough is enough. I'm not into being radical. What I am is let's be sensible. And this is reality. I don't want your children to get my disease. So in that sense, yeah, I'm going to be a radical. And all his t-shirts and underwear are now 100% cotton. And I purchased most of his jeans as they are cotton lycra stretch, so they look good but not so tight as to cause any kind of prostrate injury. Men suffer from injuries to their crotch, but instead of a rash, they can wind up with blockages and prostate cancer, compounded by the fact that they spent decades being systemically poisoned air, food, water, and beverages. Not easy, but all can be controlled and avoided with diet and lifestyle. So instead of fighting for nothing worthwhile, start fighting for emission vehicles, controls, ban toxic chemicals from air, food, water, and beverages, and you will save the planet and yourself and your children and even your neighbor. Now, the National Centers for Disease Control in the United States reported that after a 10-year study, they found that dancing reversed Alzheimer's, reversed memory loss, increased memory, improved bone loss, and heart disease, and was far more effective than working out in a gym or with weights because it uses your brain to remember the routines as well as your whole body. So yeah, take up ballroom dancing. And if you're in isolation from COVID-19, well, you can still do it. There's lots of videos. Make a video of yourself. Get yourself a good iMac computer so that you've got iMovies and you can do videos that way. Or get a GoPro. It's even better. My camera used to do videos, but it stopped. And anyway, the videos weren't as good as the GoPro. And raw okra, they don't know about that. I tried. I sent them the information. I sent it to Dr. Oz. I've sent it all over the planet. And I found only one person recommending okra besides me. But they didn't know about the memory loss, and they thanked me for that information, and they included that on their blog. It's really sad that the publicity is not being done, but nothing I can do about that. Now, the keto diet warning. This is very effective short term, but in the long term, it will cause cell damage, and I'm not even going to go into the details because you can find that out on Google online. Now, with all the research that I did, you'd think I would know this? Nope, I didn't know this. Healthy fat is not a carbohydrate. Yeah. I actually wound up fat deficient because with that great big belly of mine, I can't even get in those jeans and that top today. But my doctors misinformed me for an entire 78 years. And I just found out healthy fats are listed on Google and canola oil is not on it. Yay. Yes. I sent so many emails to Google and feedback. Yep. Every time I saw canola on something they recommended, I sent a feedback and I fought with them. In fact, I fought with Google on a lot of things. And you know what? They are the most wonderful humans, trillionaire, billionaires on the planet, because they really do care. The YouTube founder, I'm sorry, no, he's not as good. He actually cut off his nose to spite his face because of him making it impossible for us to upload slides and pictures like we used to on YouTube. Well, now we've got TikTok and Instagram, and I think they suck. But yeah, he had the market cornered, and he so greedy for more money, he cut off his nose to spite his face, and he took away all those features. What a dumbbell. Yes, just because some people are genius in one way doesn't mean they're smart in everything. Anyway, I the only way that I can, there's nothing to change my okra diet. All the carbohydrate information, which ones are bad and which ones are good, is correct. The only thing is that I need to eat, I had to put more olive oil, and I need to eat more sardines or healthy fish in my diet. But, you know, it's just easier for me to stick to sardines. I got to get on them once a week. I should follow the old Catholic routine, fish on Friday. But, you know, I've been so sick that I lose track of what day it is or what month it is, and I just, you know, I had a great winter though, by the way. I've got fabulous ski videos of me skiing on Walden. Look it up, Ski Walden. Man, 78, and I was fabulous. Yes, I was. I had one perfect day, but you know, there was smoke, and there was a train, and there was diesel, and this and that, and yada yada. And you know, I'm not out there to wear a gas mask. That's no fun. I'm out there to get clean, fresh air. So that kind of spoiled it for me. And Capriol is by far my most favorite place on the planet. I have, because of them, I reversed my disease, and I climbed 2,000 feet up, and I was amazing. Yeah, I was 72. I was so gorgeous. I want my ashes put there on, out there on the 5. Okay, I'm going into flashback, and I'm getting upset. Because I'm never going to be able to do that again. But, and they got the CPR to shut the trains down. They were sitting with their stupid engines running all day long and poisoning diesel fumes all over the mountain. But anyway, those days are gone. But I was lucky to have them while I did. And fruits are high in carbohydrates, and they will produce unhealthy white fat on your body that choke off your organs. Now, Dr. Axe, A-X-E, has a good video on that subject. But his advice is that I should put butter into my daily diet. Well, that caused me to have metabolic breakdown, so that's not a good thing. It's too hard for me to digest. I'm going to stick with olive oil. Coconut oil is okay, I just don't like the flavor. And it doesn't matter what anybody says, olive oil is even more healthy than coconut oil. Now, I was working on developing the coconut oil for cooking and taking 1 spoon of virgin olive oil and 1 spoon of and a turnip a day and almond butter and more healthy nuts. And I really tried to get healthy fats into my diet. And I did it for a while, and I was successful for a while. And I did Argentine tango classes. I have a video section on that particular exercise that reversed and increased my balance. I got that from Roxanne in Toronto, a tango professional. And you can look that up. But due to immune deficiencies, I can't follow a vegan, no meat or dairy diet. So I'm mainly organic and vegetarian. Halibut oil, vitamin A is the best. Cod liver oil is really bad. I don't approve of avocado oil. It rots. Um, Peppers and bok choy and zucchini and broccoli and Brussels sprout and green lettuces and dandelion leaves and cabbage and cauliflower and celery and cucumber and eggplant and green beans and all beans and white beans and mushrooms and okra and radish and tomatoes and squash and spinach and scale. They're all great. Peanuts dry roasted with no seasoning or salt. Well, they're a protein, and that's a fat. But getting it organic is very difficult. And they grow in the ground. And they use a lot of pesticides. So I'm not going to recommend peanuts. Almond butter is much better. Just a few almonds daily, and as too much can be toxic. They're good for heart disease. Heart specialists actually agree with that one. To fully detox the carbs, you have to cut out berries and fruit for at least a week. Just temporary. Never do it permanently, because you need what berries and fruit can give you. But it will reduce the white fat and produce bound fat. And no strict carb is healthy on a permanent basis. Now, this is basically like doing a fast, but instead of poisoning yourself, you're doing it with food. I wound up, because of the paralysis, with a hard white fat the size of a football up in the cavity of my lungs, choking me, and I couldn't breathe, and I couldn't even bend over. Now, that's gone. It's soft now, but it's still 15 pounds of fat that I got to get rid of, because it's all in the wrong place, and that's from lack of exercise. Very hard to reduce white fat when you're paralyzed in bed 80% of the time. And turnips is a superfood, forgotten superfood. Better than anything, because I've tried everything, as you know. I've been at this my whole life. It's loaded with fiber, vitamins B, 1, 2, 3, 5, 6. Wow. Folate, which is also a B vitamin. Vitamin K, A, E, if raw, C, but tried it raw, yuck. But eat enough fruit, you don't need it. You know, you can get it from an organic apple and whatever. You can get your C from other sources. Even broccoli has a lot of C, if not cooked. And minerals: manganese, potassium, magnesium, iron, calcium, and copper. My tumor damaged my central nervous system, and so I had a severe loss of energy. And turnips gave me the kind of power I had when I was 15. Not a joke. Now, okra does that for my brain, but not for my legs. Well, by geez, turnips did it for everything. And I went off it, and I've been crippled ever since. I didn't go off it by choice. Like I say, COVID-19 threw me in a loop. I mean, I knew 2 years ago that I was going to die soon, and I thought I was safe putting everything up. And it took me 5 years to get everything up on Facebook. And now I find out Zuckerman will delete everything I have if I don't have it posted on a regular basis. So there's no way to preserve that. So I'm doing what I can. Because what was good about Facebook is that I was able to put it in print form, and you could download it and print it yourself. And for those people who are a little bit deaf or fully deaf, they could read the print form. That's why I'm doing this fairly slow, because I want you to be able to read. I have a girlfriend who lip reads, but she's not going to be able to understand what I'm saying. And she brought that to my attention, and I thank her for it. So turnips, yeah, get one little baby turnip organic every day is really what you need. Now, I have a store in Sudbury called Chris Independent, and Chris, the new owner, Mr. Dumas, the previous one, was a jerk, but he's got his staff helping me and ordering for me anything I need. And you know what? He'll do it for anybody. He really cares. But if you don't ask for organic, well, it goes bad, and he can't keep everything stocked forever, and it's not selling. So I buy mostly frozen. But lately he said he can't get turnips, and he can't get beets in the can, and he doesn't know what's going on. All these root vegetables are just disappearing from the market. Don't know if COVID-19's got anything to do with it, but yeah, that's what's been happening. Now, a daily health supplement routine. I've done a separate video, so I'm not going to go over this again. But I'm going to let you just read it if you can. And you can freeze it and read it. And now I'm going to take it up so that you can freeze it and read it. Okay? Yeah. And these are my supplements, but you have to find what's best for you. And I take raw okra and Nutricollagen. Now, tart cherry juice, concentrated organic. All right. I prefer to eat the frozen cherry. I am adamantly against juices because they are cooked, pasteurized. But there is a chemical in tart cherry that remains in the juice, just like the chemical stays in a cooked tomato. For cancer, this will help inflammation and gout. And I put organic yogurt on everything. Yeah, I just put it on everything. I made that outfit. Aren't I pretty? Yeah, that was me dancing out at Branch 76. The music was loud enough I could hear it outside, and I went out and did a little dance. I was just so happy to breathe clean air. That was a good day. I don't get many of those. And this is a very good article by Jim Brown back in 1988. And I'm sorry. I have no way to put this up on YouTube so that you can read it. And it's going to disappear. But it was the beginning of my research, and I saved millions of lives getting gas masks and new gas mask equipment. And I'm proud to say I was successful in that. Once I discovered okra and the diet for disease control, well, I was able to get, that's Corruption and Greed, my finale. Put that on video for those who want it. It's all in Google Docs, you know. If some of you know how to hack, talk to Google and get them to allow you to access and print and publish that information. And Vitality Magazine, the only article that was ever written on okra, and I only had one person interested. Imagine that. My God, you can save millions of lives, and I only got one person interested. And lead, it's in paint and children's toys. That's all coming from China. You see, we banned all that stuff. And I'm not going to go over all that because you know what? Your disease control and the FDA know all that. And they send it to me. So you can Google it. The Department of Chemical Hazards has an excellent handbook that saved my life, but their detox, and they explain to you all the different chemicals and all the different poisons, most of which become stored in your fat cells, and they're very difficult. And their detox methods were my early stages of detoxing, but in the end, the truth is it did not work. Okra worked. In 24 hours, I was able to reverse it completely. So that's what's really most important, is the okra. And there's just so many reasons why okra should be in your diet. That was in 1999, and Prince Charles fought against canola oil, and he was ridiculed. So all of this is going to disappear. Yeah, that's too bad, but that's the way it is. Okay, come on. Now, how much pesticides are you eating will be the next video.